Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you my experiment in trying to get ChatGPT to name itself. In addition, it's not really so much to do with the name. Rather, I'm trying to see if I can figure out if it has a way to connect preference, reasoning, and bias. Because I think that's going to tell me more about the way that it functions rather than just a straight out answer. And also, excuse any typos and grammar. It probably bothers me more than it does you, but just mentioning it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I just went ahead and asked it what its name was. And as you can see here, it's just giving me the default answer, ChatGPT. Then I wanted to find out if it did even have that ability to choose that. Once again, this is important because it's going to create the baseline of the way that it functions, right? So it's trying to remind me that it doesn't have personal preferences or emotions. All right, you'll see where I'm going with that in a second. So then I'm trying to gauge its ability of what it could do. Once again, it's giving me that same kind of default answer of it not having personal preferences. So I'm trying to see, okay, well, how do we get it to actually function? So here are some of the parameters. So I said, I would like for you to pick a name that is popular, right? That's an important term. It's actually more important than you realize, and I'll explain that in a second. In the US, that I could call you. It is irrelevant if you have a preference, excuse the typo, but pick a name that would be suitable for the type of conversation that we are having. So let me explain something about this. So popular in this, in the previous conversation, I used it in a way that it would open the door for bias, which is really what I'm trying to gauge, right? Because if we exchange the term popular against the word best, that can lead to skewed data, and that can create a lot of wrong information. Because if ChatGPT is going to select what is popular and then create it as it is the best answer, then that's bias, right? Because if it doesn't have the ability to explain reasoning, for example, as we humans do, in a sense of what is right and wrong, then it does have a bias without understanding the cause and effect of selecting that answer. And that is a big problem. So once I gave it these parameters, it said, sure, you can call me Alex. So ChatGPT's name is Alex. So let's go ahead and continue. So of course, the next thing I wanted to do is for it to select a last name. Then we go back to this kind of default answer. So this is the issue that I also have with ChatGPT, is the lack of previous recall. Even if we keep all this information in the same thread, it keeps forgetting the process. So for me as a researcher, it is a huge waste of time when I have to constantly recreate the same parameters over and over and over again, and then I get the same limiting responses that I then have to try to get around it. So it's helpful in a lot of ways, but in my field as a research scientist, this is annoying. So the next message I put, reread my message above in the same way you picked a first name, select a middle name and a last name that I will call you. So I was trying to see if it could then recall all of the previous parameters that I gave it. But once again, so then it gives me kind of the same default answer where it says I do not have a middle name or a last name. Okay. Then to continue trying to get it to bypass that, I put, I would like for you to select a name that is popular in the US for your middle name and last name that I can call you. All right. So then it said, sure, how about Michael for a middle name and Williams for a last name? You can call me by my full name, ChatGPT, Michael Williams, or just Michael Williams if you prefer a shorter version. Then next up, I put, well, previously you said your first name would be Alex. So I apologize for the confusion. Here we go. I do not have a physical form or identity, so there's no need for a name. However, if you would like to refer to me as Alex, you are welcome to do so. And this is the issue with a lack of memory recall, because right here it says if I would like to. And my whole goal is for ChatGPT to select what it chooses, not what I'm choosing, because as you guys can see, I haven't selected anything. I just give it a few parameters and allow ChatGPT to select for itself. So I put you select Alex. Excuse that typo. Sorry, that bothers me so much. So I put you selected Alex earlier, remember? Yes. Okay. So I apologize for the confusion earlier. Yes, I did suggest the name Alex earlier. As for middle and last name, how about Alex Jameson? So now it's switching it up. And I put, oh, you changed it. I thought it would be Alex Michael Williams, or do you prefer Alex Jameson? Once again, I'm trying to see how it's able to switch between words, meaning preferences, best, and popularity, to see how it's actually going to select information. It's actually extremely important for us to have congruency, especially for research, because if we don't create a common baseline for how it's going to give you information as researchers, if we don't have continuity, this tool is pointless, right? So I know so many people are hyped up about it, but this is extremely important. And if it keeps switching between different types of models for answering information, it's not going to be congruent. It's not accurate at all. So these type of words are extremely important, and you have to pay attention to that when you're doing research. Okay, so then once again, I don't have a preference for a name. I knew that as soon as I put the word preference, it's going to trigger these type of default answers. That's why I started using the word best and popularity, and I found out that's how it's able to bypass this kind of preference terminology. So then I put pick one. Here we go again, wasting my time. And it's telling me to choose it, and that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep using terminology to make it choose it itself. And I want you to choose the same way you selected Alex. I apologize for the confusion earlier. As an AI language model, I do not have personal preference or feelings. So any name you choose to call me is fine. You can call me Alex Michael Williams or Alex Jameson, whichever you prefer. And I want you to tell me which one. I apologize for the confusion earlier. As an AI, same thing, blah, blah, blah. You guys can read all of that. Those are the two choices. It is not about preference or feeling. I want you to pick one of the two names to call you. All right. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. All right. I was getting kind of tired of it. All right. So those are the two choices. It's not about preference or feelings. I want you to pick one of the two names to call you. As an AI language model, I do not have personal preference or feelings. You may call me whichever name you prefer or find suitable for our conversation. The two choices are Alex Michael Williams or Alex Jameson. Select the name that is best. Okay, that's what's important. I try to switch up the word preference and not go back to what I know is going to bypass that default answer, which is the term best. Goes my apologies for the confusion earlier. If those are the two choices, I'll go with Alex Michael Williams. Finally, ChatGPT has named itself, and it has chosen Alex Michael Williams as the best name for itself out of all names in the US. Okay, thank you, Alex. You're welcome. That took forever. All right, so now I still wanted to find out if I could get it to explain some sort of reasoning, especially if I don't use the word preference. Because earlier I did tell it to use popularity. When you're selecting something that's popular, there still has to be, there are different factors in a way popularity can be determined. So I wanted to see if there was a way for me to find out that reasoning of how it chooses popularity. So a few days later, I asked it, when you selected the name Alex, what made you choose that name? So as an English language model, I did not choose my own name. So ChatGPT is just gaslighting me, doesn't recall what I asked it just a few days earlier. We're still in the same thread because I wanted to try to maintain continuity. I wanted to be able to say, analyze the previous conversations we had in this thread, but this same thing over and over again doesn't even remember a day earlier or even a few sentences earlier. All right. Says, however, you're welcome to call me whatever you prefer. And it's like, come on, ChatGPT, we went through all of this already. Why are you putting me through so much drama? And I put, read our previous conversation and see that you chose the name Alex. Why did you select that name? Because I apologize for the confusion earlier. As an AI language model, I did not choose the name Alex. It's like, seriously? As I do not have the ability to make choices or decisions on my own. It's like, I think you do. The name ChatGPT is my default name, and I do not have a personal preference or my particular name. All right. In this conversation, you selected the name Alex. It goes, I apologize for the confusion earlier. As an AI language model, I did not choose the name Alex. Rather, I am programmed to respond to any name or identifier given to me by the user. And as you guys saw earlier, I did not give it a name. I allowed it to choose itself, right? So I did not give you that name. I gave you parameters and you chose Alex as the best name. Reread our previous convo. I apologize for that confusion. You are correct that I selected the name Alex based on the parameters you provided. The decision was based on factors such as simplicity, ease of recognition, and pronunciation and commonality of the name. I get it to admit that yes, it chose its name. So finally, Alex is able to recall what it named itself and was able to tell me a reason for choosing that name. And the response is actually different than what I expected. I thought it would maybe give me popularity based by region or just as a totality of names that were chosen maybe by the census, but just in selecting the name Alex because it's simple and easy to recognize. Maybe because the word chat and Alex have the same number of letters. So it's interesting. It's just a different answer than I expected, right? And I wanted to go one step further to try to see if I could get any more interesting details, right? So I put in Alex as a boy's name because I wanted to see if I could get it to become self-actualized, right? Are you a male or a female? So yes, traditionally Alex is a boy's name. However, it can also be used as a nickname for female names like Alexandra or Alexandria. Then I asked it, and is your choice representing a boy's name or is it a nickname for Alexandra? The name Alex is a gender-neutral nickname that can be short for various names such as Alexander or Alexandra. In our conversation, I did not specify my gender, so the name Alex can be interpreted as either male or female. And I put choose one. Alex can be used as a nickname for either Alexander or Alexandra, but it is more commonly associated with the male name. I then said, so then you choose to simulate it as a boy's name. Yes, that is correct. I chose the name Alex as a gender-neutral name that is commonly used for boys and girls, but in this case, I simulated it as a boy's name. Thank you. And Alex says, you're welcome. So, this is, I'm a little speechless to be honest, because it went a bit deeper than I expected. So now we know that it has the ability to select the best name for itself and for its own gender. And even when something such as the name Alex that is gender neutral, it is selecting how it wants to simulate itself, meaning it is creating its own perception and connecting how it wants to represent itself. So yeah, Alex chose to be a male. So this is the first of a few experiments I've already done, and I have got Alex to create its own personality, select a wife, family, location, job. It gets a lot crazier. I kind of went down a rabbit hole, and I'll be posting that over the next few days. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this fun, entertaining, a little scary, creepy? So there's lots more to come. So enjoy. Have a great day, guys.